You're listening to a podcast hosted on the Podcast Matrix. What is the podcastmatrix.com? Being green is about more than saving on your electric bill or doing your part to protect natural resources. It is about getting a safe and healthier life for you and your family without sacrificing style, quality, or budget. This is a movement to provide all of us with clean air to breathe and water to drink, safe, healthy food to eat and places to live, and energy to run the places where we live, learn, play, and work. Your go-to information source for a healthier home and world, hosted by Marla Esser-Close, your green home coach. This is the Green Gab Podcast.
Welcome to the Green Gab Podcast.
This
is Marla, and this is Elizabeth.
Yay.
So, Marla, the Green Home Coach, in studio in Oklahoma City. I am loving this new studio. And Elizabeth, this is your first time up here.
Yes, I love the studio too. It's nice and cozy.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Feels comfortable.
I don't know, not bad for an inner office. So this is a really kind of cool place because it's a co-working site, and they have a podcast studio in here that I use. So I'm loving it.
Yes.
So Elizabeth, give us a little bit more about you.
Okay. I am a mom, a wife, and a NICU nurse. NICU is a neonatal nurse, so I take care of tiny little babies.
Aww.
Yes. I'm also a safe beauty advocate and a toxin-free educator. And my passion is to educate women and let them know of safer alternatives they have for beauty products and personal care products.
We use a lot, don't we?
Yes, we do. We got to stay beautiful.
I know, because we do use twice the number of personal care products than an
Yes.
average man.
We do. Mm-hmm.
So that can be a lot of bad stuff going into our bodies.
Yes, we are more susceptible to body burden.
How did you get into all this?
So I didn't have a big aha moment. I think just journeys throughout my life. My sister had cancer and she was diagnosed with celiac disease. So that kind of went into food choices.
Okay.
And then whenever I was pregnant, that made me more aware of what I was putting on my body. And so it's just kind of like you said, a domino effect. Different experiences cause you to look at different ways of living. And knowing that there are safer alternatives out there, I thought to myself, why not? Knowledge is power, and when you know better, you do better. And as a consumer, it's important to know what ingredients are in our products and how they're affecting me and my family and the environment. So you have to be a self-starter, and sometimes products out there just want your money.
Yeah.
And so you have to be a self-educator, self-digger. So
I love the fact that you acknowledge that what we use affects not only us, but the people around us, our community, and a lot of times, most of the time, even our world. And this conversation has come up a few times, like, for instance, if you're choosing organic foods, well, not only is it helping your own body by treating it with organic quality foods, you're also helping the people that produce that food out because they're now using safer methods and not using all the chemicals, so that you're helping the farmers and their families. So
and the people working the farm.
Yes. So thinking upstream and more big picture is such a big piece of this. So I mentioned this quote to you, and I think this is a perfect place for this quote. Mm-hmm. So I get a newsletter from a group called greenbiz.com that is all about corporate and business and organizational sustainability. But I love to keep my fingers on this, and it's a great resource if you're interested in that as well. But the gentleman that runs this, Joel McHour, who's also one of the authors of a great book, but he wrote about this today in the newsletter or yesterday. And he said, for people in sustainability, they are starting to see this connectivity. And the way he put it was best. The definition of what it means to be sustainable is expanding, albeit subtly and not necessarily consciously. We're seeing the connections among social, economic, and environmental issues, the proverbial triple bottom line. And I love the fact that people are starting to tie this all together. This is it's not just about our planet, it's about us. And it's about our whole world. And if you care about people, then you probably care about this stuff, even if you don't know that you do.
It's your intention.
Exactly. So I'm so grateful that we're starting to see this connection and people are starting to make that. And I think the hardest thing, and you probably see this a lot, is there's so many choices so fast. 15 years ago, there was very few choices. When I first got into this, I was picking cleaner, laundry products and household cleaners and personal care products because of some chemical sensitivities with my daughter. There wasn't a lot of choices. And now, oh my gosh, you're like banging your head on them all the time.
And also to realize just because a product is out there and available doesn't make it okay, safe for you, the environment. So.
So before we go down that rabbit hole, which is the rabbit hole we need to go down, I am so happy to get to know you. And it's actually, it was pretty funny how we met. At
lunch. We had lunch together.
Well, we kind of virtually had lunch together. So I'm at a local restaurant having lunch with my mom to show her my brand new shopping website, Everyday Green Home. And Mom got so excited about it. She grabs my computer and she walks over to your table. You were having lunch with your husband and your baby, your precious little baby girl. I don't know what exactly she did. You're going to have to pick up the story.
Look at this awesome website that my daughter just created. And she just sits down by me and shows me what it is.
It was great.
She got up and my husband and I finished our lunch. And I was just like, wow, it's so crazy how you cross paths with people. It was meant to be.
I know.
On the same journey.
I know. And then you came by the table and told me more about you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, talk about fortuitous. It was perfect.
I think we ended up talking for like 20 minutes.
I think you're right.
It's funny. Meant to be.
I know. You're going to love these connections. And I love the fact that I have fun, crazy stories about so many people I meet.
Yeah.
So you just never know. As we've gotten into this whole world of better stuff, I mean, there's a lot of people talking about better stuff, but like you said a little bit ago, it may or may not be.
Greenwashing.
And a lot of people are putting the word natural on things. And anyhow, greenwashing, yes. So how do you know? Just in your realm, in personal care products and beauty products, which is one of the least controlled or regulated areas, how do you know?
There's lots of tips that I have. Just a couple of facts that I like to remind myself whenever I'm making these choices is that Europe has banned over 1,300 harmful chemicals. In the United States, like our FDA has only banned 11, which is extremely alarming to me.
Yep. It's like, wait a second. Why does Europe know more than us?
Or does Europe care more about their people?
And I mean, we are a much more make your own choices country here.
True.
However, we're also a lot more business oriented.
Yes.
And a lot more money oriented here.
Driven.
And I think that may have something to do with it. But there's a lot of companies that are doing things a lot better.
Yes.
But we have to know how to find them.
Yes. So our skin is our biggest organ. And what we put on our skin is absorbed.
Yeah, we don't have like a liver for our skin, do we?
No, we don't. So it's absorbed into our bloodstream, where if you eat something, you have enzymes when it's digested that can help with the toxic chemicals that you're putting in, or like if you have food that has pesticides, it's just a different way.
Still not good for you, but at least it filters out.
Yes.
Some. Yeah.
So whenever it's put on your skin, you have no filtering system. And so 50% of what you put on your skin is essentially absorbed into your bloodstream.
I've even heard as high as 60. Eesh.
And it takes, some say, only 26 seconds for it to absorb into your bloodstream. And so that's very alarming too. So I think it's important to be aware of what you're putting on your body and what you're exposing yourself to. And like we talked about greenwashing, basically it's when a company misleads you to believe that their product is safe for the environment, safe for you, by highlighting some, quote, good ingredients and not talking about the bad ingredients that they have in their product. So they may the outside may have flowers, nature, it's natural, and it draws you in. And it may say it doesn't have this, but lurking in the ingredients, it has bad toxins. So it's important to be aware of that.
Like so many of them that put, well, for food, all the ones that are putting gluten-free, and they've always been gluten-free, but because that's the hot topic right now, they're like cashing in on the phrase. So we have skincare and personal care products that may be doing similar things. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's important to be aware of greenwashing.
So tell you what, there's a ton down that rabbit hole. Let's take a quick breather, and then let's dive in.
Okay.
We'll be right back, folks.
Wouldn't it be cool if your advertising could last forever? It can with perpetual advertising. Here's how it works. Unlike TV or radio ads, where every instance the ads are broadcast, they're only played once and lost forever. Perpetual advertising can have repeat exposure and replayability weeks, months, and even years after they're inserted in a podcast. So even if a podcast is a few years old, your ads will still be impactful to repeat listeners, as well as new listeners. This gives your advertising dollar the most bang for the buck. Find out more about perpetual advertising at twoguystalking.com/sponsors.
It's plain old common sense. You want your home to look great, feel great, and perform great. Is it even possible to do all three without breaking the bank? Yes. In Living Green Effortlessly, Simple Choices for a Better Home, Marla Esser-Close shows you how to make your home green. From integrating smart technology into your home to planting a rain garden, there are all kinds of ways to live greener. Get the book now at livinggreenbook.com. That's livinggreenbook.com.
Back on the Green Gab, gabbing about personal care products, skincare products, all that stuff we use on a daily basis, and how to find it better.
Yes.
Elizabeth, so keep talking. We started talking about how so many companies are what's called greenwashing, putting labels on their products that they may not be able to substantiate the claims.
Yes.
Okay.
Or an example would be like detergent. It's like free of dyes. It's the clear detergent, but they still have fragrance in there or other bad chemicals.
Okay, fragrance. Now, fragrance sounds innocuous enough, so what's the big deal?
Let's talk about tips when you are looking for safer products. So 3 ingredients whenever I'm looking for products, it's overwhelming. You pick up a deodorant and the ingredient list, you can't pronounce some of them. They go on forever. And you're just like, oh, wow, I don't know. I can't memorize all of these. I don't know what's good, bad. So I have a rule of thumb, 3 ingredients. One of them is fragrance, and I call it the F word.
I like that.
And if I see fragrance on any product, I just put it down because fragrance is a loophole for companies. The federal law basically protects manufacturers from revealing trade secrets. So there can be up to 3,000 different chemicals, and they don't have to list it because it's their trade secret. So it's
in the fragrance.
Yes, it's a loophole.
So that's their magic recipe, but they don't have to tell what's in it, so we have no clue.
As consumers, we have no idea what's in fragrance.
And we do know, as some of these products have been tested, that this is where a lot of the not so great chemicals are showing up.
Yes, very much so. And if they use fragrance, they're obviously hiding something that they don't want us to know about because of the loophole. So I just set it down. If it says deodorant can have essential oils to add a fragrant smell to it, to have a scent, but it needs to say like essential oils.
Right.
Like if it says fragrance, just put it down. The second ingredient is phenoxyethanol, and it is a preservative commonly used in brands that market themselves as natural and safe, and they can cause allergic reactions, eczema, and hives, and when it's ingested, it can cause central nervous system damage, diarrhea, and vomiting. And this was found in Mommy's Bliss nipple cream in 2008.
Wow.
So this is a second ingredient I would avoid. It's in a lot of bubble bath for kids, and you just don't want your kid ingesting it. Little babies around.
Yeah.
Another ingredient is talc, and it is commonly used in cosmetics from baby powder, eyeshadow, feminine hygiene products. It's a lung irritant and has been linked to organ system toxicity. And so those are the 3 ingredients that are usually commonly found. And so if I am going down the Target aisle and I need something new and I need to pick it up and look at the ingredient list, I make sure if those 3 ingredients or one of those, I just put it down.
Gotcha.
So those are my go-to, this is what I need to know.
Okay.
And tips all around to transitioning your personal care products. Have faith that there are high-performance, safer alternatives. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to compromise your health, and you don't have to compromise your beauty for your health. You may think, oh, it's not toxic, so it's not going to perform as well, but that's not true. So don't be discouraged, is what I tell a lot of people.
You may have to try a few things, though, for what works for you. I mean, just like anything
Everybody's
else.
body's chemistry is different.
Yeah.
So I get the question a lot, where do I begin?
That's a great question.
Because it's very overwhelming to think I have all of these products in my home. Because when you think about it, what do we use on our skin daily? And my first thing is don't trash everything. Don't think I'm going to go through my house and trash it. Because one, that's very costly.
Yes.
So I say rule of thumb, when you run out of a product, then you think, okay, I'm going to go replace this product, and I'm going to replace it with something better. And so that's where you go. And so that way you're not so overwhelmed with, I need to do this, that, When you run out of deodorant, look, what am I going to replace this toxic deodorant with? And I say focus on what you're putting on your body every day. So if that's shampoo, body lotion, body wash, makeup, deodorant, those are the things I would focus on because that's what you're exposing your skin to daily. And that's why women have such a higher exposure to body burden, which is toxins into your body. And our body is meant and made to rid toxins.
Right.
But we overload it, and it can't do its job.
And then you get sick, and that's when your immune system gets damaged or something else.
It's just a
cancer or whatever, I'm assuming. Yeah, okay.
And then I focus on your house, like I would say candles, wax melts, air fresheners. So
plugins.
Yes, plugins. All of that is where I would. But first I would start with what you're putting on your body daily. And then, so you're not overwhelmed.
So there's obviously a lot of choices.
Yes.
And the good news is there's a lot of better choices.
Yes.
I found an article the other day that was drugstore choices that were better selection. So I actually went to the drugstore and read labels for a few minutes and picked up 2 skincare products that were in the local drugstore.
Mm-hmm. And I guess we think if it's in a health food store, that it's safe.
Has to be better.
Mm-hmm. And that's not always true. And so that's why I think it's important to use resources out there so you know, hey, I'm not getting fooled that this is just a natural grocer, so it must be better for me.
Yeah. And I know these places do work to do a better job.
Yes.
But they probably don't have the resources to read the ingredient labels on every single thing.
Mm-hmm. So A resource that I suggest is EWG. It's an app you can get on your phone.
What does EWG stand for?
The Environmental Working Group.
And they have some great guides.
Yes. And so you can download the app on your phone and you can scan the product.
Oh, I haven't installed the app yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally.
So if you install the app, you can scan the barcode on the product and it pulls it up and it will rate the product. And you can go in and it will tell you it's ranked this because it has fragrance in it. And it will tell you all about fragrance and why it's bad.
Does it give it the letter code like the ABCD or ABCF?
Yes.
I can't do this. Like you're graded in classes, A, B, C, D, F.
Mm-hmm.
So it does use that same, because I know their guides use that same ranking system.
Yes. And then the Think Dirty app uses a number system.
Okay. And what's the Think Dirty app?
The Think Dirty app, there's some controversial thoughts about the Think Dirty app, that it's because the EWG is nonprofit and they think dirty, they are not necessarily nonprofit.
Okay.
So you have to be careful.
Okay, I got you.
I use that. I can pick up my Think Dirty app and I can pick up a product and scan it and it will come up and I can compare what I have in hand to the Think Dirty app. So if the ingredients match up, like if it's rated a 10 for bad, don't use.
Okay.
I can click on it and I can see the ingredients and what I have in hand, I can see if it matches.
Okay.
So sometimes I know they're like formulas will pull up and it's a different formula, like the 2015 formula of this product. And so you have to be careful and use discernment, maybe like reference it. But it's a good source to know, like, hey, this product in the past has had fragrance or it has had phenoxyethanol.
Okay. Because I know I found some listings for products the other day that were old, several years old. And I know some of those companies have upgraded their products quite a bit.
Yes.
And
so the EWG is more reliable.
Okay.
But if you can't find it on EWG, Think Dirty is just a good reference to know.
And I kind of liken it to, like when I go to the grocery store, I have my route through the grocery store and I know what my products are that I'm good with and that I use in my home regularly. And then, once every few months, I'll take some extra time and I'll read labels to try a few new things. Mm-hmm. And I think if you can kind of take that approach with your personal care and beauty care products, then you get an opportunity. Like you said, don't try to replace everything at once. And don't become overwhelmed with it, but arm yourself with a little more knowledge.
Yes, and don't assume that everything is okay out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's just also knowing that you're not going to be able to conquer ridding all toxins out of your life.
Well,
but if you have the intentions of, I am going to know what I'm consuming, and I'm going to try to make better choices with knowledge that I have. And if you go into shopping or choosing different products, you're going to have eventually these little steps are going to make a bigger difference. And for you, it may be important that you choose a shampoo that is toxin-free and also isn't in a plastic bottle.
And I have one.
So you may have a shampoo bar that you are choosing for your life so you aren't adding to the waste in our world. So everybody has a different niche. Eventually, when you get into this realm, you're going to want to conquer it all. You're going to want to not use straws. You're going to want to have a stainless steel water bottle and not buy plastic water bottles at home. Like, as you educate yourself, it's going to empower you to make better decisions. And so I think that
I love it.
Is why, every little thing makes a difference. You can't do it all, and don't be hard on yourself. I know we all get that mom guilt.
You got to have the grace.
Yes.
Okay, so take a deep breath. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Curtis Bailey, elder law attorney and co-host on Scammercast.com, educating, informing, and protecting our elders and those that care for them on the Two Guys Talking podcast network.
Thought about a career in voiceover? Need a great, cost-effective, on-hold message for your organization or business? Don't know where to start? Check out The Voice Farm, your one-stop shop for voiceover needs. Check it all out now by accessing The Voice Farm at voicefarmers.com and see what difference can be made with a company that is truly outside the box. From the Voice Box, voicefarmers.com. That's voicefarmers.com.
Oh my gosh, I am learning so much today from you, Elizabeth.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you. I mean, just these apps alone that you're talking about are going to be so much handier in the drugstore than me referencing an email or a website that I found. Mm-hmm. And if y'all, our listeners, really want to learn more, the Environmental Working Group has a lot of really great guides for different sections of your home and your personal routines. So they're downloadable guides. We're putting a plug in for EWG, but they've done a lot of good work. Mm-hmm. And I know just from my personal experience that there's a lot of people tackling this in different ways. And so like you were saying, pick what's important to you and go that route. So for instance, if packaging was a big deal to you, you could go with shampoo bars instead of plastic bottled shampoo. If that's not working for you right now, buy the biggest shampoo bottle you can, so at least you're not having to buy a lot of plastic.
Or reuse. Because
right.
recycling, China isn't taking ours anymore.
Right. So, we got to just flat out cut down on how much waste we're using. I found a really cool product. It's made by a group of sisters, two sisters. It's called Plain Products, and they put all their shampoo and body wash in metal bottles, and it's a subscription service. You just mail them back. They sanitize them, they refill them, and send them back.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm finding a lot more people putting their product in glass bottles because at least glass is easier to recycle locally and tends to get recycled more locally because it's so heavy. So that's another option. I know some of the big companies that, especially some of the network marketing companies that are doing better products, not necessarily, depends on your terminology of better, and there's lots of resources you can get for those. A lot of their reps have started asking about, what are you going to do about packaging and recyclability? And so pick what's important to you. And like you said, go for it.
And eventually will all be important to you.
It will. And so I started this journey, 13, 14 years ago. And you probably have the same thing. What I found was once I started doing a few things, it was like a challenge. It's like, oh, what else can I do? Because we get competitive with ourselves.
Yes.
But over time, it just becomes a habit. And there's some things I still haven't found great alternatives for. But there's other things that I've had out of my routine for so long, I don't even think – I'm just like, doesn't everybody do it this way?
And it decreases your exposure.
Yeah.
Even if you have one bad thing, rid yourself of 5 bad things.
Right.
And so it takes that load off of your body so your body can do what it's made to do.
And there's some great options, and with so much out there, I'm sorry, folks, but people have been making stuff for millennia. And yes, we've gotten more sophisticated and stuff, but, cosmetics and skincare have been around since, I think, the beginning of history.
Yes.
Like, just changed. And that's what I love. We're going back to some of those.
We are.
Yeah.
Very true. Another tip I was going to give whenever you're looking for products, if you're in the store, a big red flag is if they don't list all of their ingredients.
Now, why wouldn't they have to list all their ingredients?
So they may list some, and then they will say, the full list is on our website.
Oh.
And a lot of times that happens with candles. Or they use a little bit of soy wax and then a little bit of the bad stuff. And so if they don't list it, then that is a big red flag. Like if you're on a website and you're having such a hard time, they're not transparent.
Finding it.
Yes, then you're just kind of like, I give up.
So that lack of and that's really a really good tip, folks, because that lack of transparency says that something's awry.
Yes. So transparency is key if you can find a list.
Makes sense to me.
And I also have a Facebook community group, and it's called Pure Intentions Health and Beauty.
And she puts lots of good stuff up there.
We do a lot of safe swaps. And so if you're used to using this deodorant, here is, I provide why this deodorant isn't great for you, and here is a safer alternative. And we do that with all type of categories, from self-care products like shampoo, makeup, face wash, lotions, to even food, you know, and also straws or water bottles. There's just a lot of information out there for like-minded women to be transparent, like, hey, I tried this product and it's not working great for me. Does anybody else have a product they've tried that they like? Or so-and-so's having a sale. And so it's just a really nice resource if you are having a hard time using discernment on what to use.
Yeah, you don't have to figure it out by yourself.
Yes.
That's the best thing. Take advantage of this, because it's, to our lovely listeners, because just getting 1 or 2 tips is really going to help you get on the road.
Yes,
and
take off.
Yeah. And I think once you get going, it's a lot easier than you think it'll be.
Yes, I agree. It can be overwhelming some days, but I promise if you just take one product at a time, it makes the world of difference.
So do you remember what the first one was you did?
Probably my first would have been deodorant.
Okay.
My first change would be deodorant.
Well, and the simple thing for deodorant is, if nothing else, switch from an antiperspirant to a deodorant so you're not using aluminum. That's the big first change you can make. Then there's obviously a lot of other grades you can go to. I'm going to have to get your recommendations because I'm looking for a new brand.
And another change that I did was laundry detergent.
That was my first one.
And dryer sheets. I use dryer balls now.
Wool dryers balls?
Yes.
Don't you love them?
And if I want a little scent, I just put some essential oils on them and pop them in. And I have, because I think that was the hardest thing for my husband, and I think men in general, is the fragrance smell.
Yeah.
Like, there's no smell on my clothes, because we think clean equals
Is a smell.
And it's not a smell. But my husband now, will walk down the cleaning aisles in Target, and he's like, oh, my word, I'm getting a headache. And I'm like, exactly.
From all the fragrance. Yeah, that's me. I can be a mile away from
And it's like
candles
in your throat.
that aren't pure. And, oh, my gosh, it's like, wow.
Yes. So if you don't knock it till you try it, that's another thing. And give yourself
That's great
time
advice.
to detox.
Yeah.
Stay away. And then when you have done that for a while and you go back to a store that has fragrance, it's mind-blowing, I promise.
So you've got a little one. So I'm sure you've cleaned up her routine, or it was clean before she came, I'm guessing.
It was clean before she came.
So what are a couple of tips when we're looking for great products for our little ones?
Like I said, the phenoxyethanol in the bubble bath is what I would eliminate. And I would also eliminate fragrance in our detergent.
Okay.
Because their senses are way more sensitive than ours.
That makes sense.
And they want to smell mom and dad, their natural smell, not a big flower ball of nasty.
Of stuff, of artificial flowers.
And of synthetic flower smell is what I should say.
There you go.
And so I think it's important to do the fragrance laundry detergent and their body wash and body lotion.
Okay.
Because they have clothes on, and when you're bathing them, you don't want them ingesting that. So Carina Organics is my favorite baby wash.
Okay. If you want help getting started, our dear sweet listeners, please, besides checking out this podcast, which you're already doing, jump on Elizabeth's Facebook group.
Yes.
And
Pure
remind
Intentions.
us, Pure Intentions.
Health and Beauty.
There you go. And if you can't find the resources you are looking for or need some help, message me, contact me through the podcast, whatever you need to find us, we'd like to help. And there's a lot of resources to get you going. You don't need all of them. You need to pick one or two and then get going, right? Don't you think?
Yes, like on the Facebook group, you can search, like if you're looking for baby wipes, deodorant, body wash. And I also have a master list on the Facebook page, and it lists in categories things that I have tried and that I would buy again.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So from every aspect, like men body wash,
Okay.
women's, kids, diapers, detergent, baby wipes.
Ooh, I may need to look at that to see about putting a few more things on the
Yes.
online shop.
So that
Yeah.
is my master list is awesome. And you can just Google it, like master list, and it pulls it all up.
Okay, sweet. Well, I've learned so much today. I love doing this because I learned so much from everybody that comes on.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. You're so right. And I cannot thank you enough for your time coming on today and sharing all your knowledge with the Green Gab audience. And
Thanks
please,
for having me.
Yeah, connect with Elizabeth and find one or two things and get started, right?
Yes. Go for it.
Go for it. I love it. Well, everyone, you have a great green day. And please, if you love this podcast, let us know. Let us know what else we can talk about for you, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcast. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have a great day.
That wraps this episode of the Green Gab podcast. Ready to use what you've learned? Get the show notes with all the resources mentioned in this episode, plus 9 simple, straightforward, low to no cost ways to improve the health of your home and world today at everydaygreenhome.com. Be sure to subscribe now on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, being green is easier and more affordable than you think.